Crucifixion. Jesus and two others, both criminals, were led out to be executed. The soldiers put a piece of wood on Jesus' back and made him carry it. When they came to a place called the Skull, they drove nails through Jesus' hands and feet and nailed him to a cross made of 2 planks of wood. The criminals were also crucified, one on his right and one on his left. The soldiers took Jesus' clothes and cast lots, like dice, to see who got to keep them. The crowds watched, and the leaders made fun of Jesus. "He saved others," they said. "Let him save himself if he really is the promised king." The soldiers mocked him. They called out to him, "Save yourself." One of the criminals hanging beside him also began to make fun of Jesus, saying, "So you're the promised king, are you? Prove it by saving yourself, and us too, while you're at it." But the other criminal protested, "We deserve to die for our wrongdoings and disobedience, but this man hasn't done anything wrong." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come back with power to rule." And Jesus replied, "I tell you the truth, today you will be with me in paradise." Jesus' mother, Mary, stood near the cross along with John, one of Jesus' disciples. Jesus looked at them and said, "Dear woman, here is your son." And to John he said, "Here is your mother." After that day, Mary lived at John's house so that he could take care of her. By the time it was about noon, and darkness fell across the land until 3 o'clock, then Jesus shouted, "It is finished," and with those words he died. When the Roman officer in charge of the execution saw what had happened, he worshipped God and said, "Surely this man was the Son of God." Now, there was a good religious leader who did not agree with what the other religious leaders had done. He went to the governor and asked for Jesus' body. He and another man took down the body from the cross and wrapped it in a sheet of linen cloth and laid it in a new tomb that had been carved out of rock. This was done on late Friday afternoon. As Jesus' body was taken away, the women who had been his disciples walked behind and saw the tomb where his body was placed. A huge stone was rolled in front of the entrance of the tomb. When the women went home and made up spices and ointments to prepare Jesus' body for burial, by the time they were finished, their religious day of rest had begun, when no work was allowed to be done, and so they had to wait until Sunday before they could return to the tomb and take care of Jesus' body.